A very warm afternoon to all my dear children. Well, children, in this video I shall be telling you about sustainable development, wherein in the last video, means that is the first video, we dealt with public facilities. So here I go. Economic development in the developed countries and developing countries has been attained at what cost? At the cost of natural resources and environment. For example, excessive mining of iron, gold, silver, or coal and extraction of crude oil to depletion. It always lead to depletion of the stock of these resources. Smoke and other poisonous gases being released from factories lead to environmental pollution. Problems of water and air pollution are affecting the lives of people and will affect lives of future generations as well. Well, students, our mismanagement of natural resources will result into environmental degradation that is not confined to national or state boundaries only. But nowadays the focus is on sustainable development, which permits us to use the resources carefully. So here we have the term sustainable development that is associated with the balanced use of natural resources by using resources at minimum level that future generations can use it. Now you can take some examples, okay, this which is already mentioned in your NCERT book about groundwater in India. Well, students, if you talk about groundwater in India, depleting groundwater resources in Punjab, Western UP, and hard rock plateau of Central and South India points to overuse and growing urban settlements. There is 40% decline in groundwater sources in India, and it means too much. If you talk about exhaustion of natural resources, it's also there. So according to World Energy Review, June 2018, the total reserves of the crude oil stock in the world is going to last just for 50 years as countries are fast using up the oil reserves and alternative sources of energy are not well developed yet. So you can see with the explanation, and you can see from here, you can hear from the explanation, and you can see from the concept written here that everywhere there is a depletion of natural resources. Okay, so it's always there, like you can say we always compromise with the natural resources. It should not be there. Okay, now the thing is that the resources would be renewable and non-renewable. Now here in this flow chart you can see about the groundwater depletion, which we have already discussed about that. So students, renewable resource, if you talk about, it is just kind of non-depleted when used. Okay, a natural resource or source of energy that is not depleted by use, such as water, wind or solar power. But as a contrast, if you talk about non-renewable resources, it's such as coal, gas or oil that once consumed cannot be replaced. Okay, so most energy resources currently in use are non-renewable, while the renewable ones such as wind and solar power are not well developed. Okay, it is also called depletable resources. Fine. Now we talked much about exhaustion of natural resources, groundwater level. We talk about land fertility. Land fertility, why I am talking about land fertility here? Because this is also a part of sustainable development, or you can say environmental degradation. How? I'll tell you. If you remember, my dear children, you people have studied about green revolution in class 9th and its limitations as well, wherein you studied about excessive use of pesticides and what? Pesticides we use there, okay, and chemical fertilizers. So with this, because automatically it will reduce land fertility. So it's up to you that we have to be very conscious while using our existing resources. Okay, so sustainability of development means that development should take place. I'm not saying that it shouldn't take place. It should take place without damaging the environment. And development in the present should not compromise with the needs of the future generations. Okay. So now, students, if you talk about sustainable development and all, then you would be able to find out the difference between renewable resources and non-renewable resources, which is there before you. Okay, like you can study from here. Renewable resources can be replaced by natural process in a short amount of time or can be recycled. Non-renewable resources, these are natural resources that either cannot be replaced or may take millions of years to replace by natural process like coal and oil. So in this there are 4 differences. I will request that you would copy these differences in your fair notebook. What is the importance of sustainable development? It's a continuous process, we know that. So resources are to be used in such a way that they are not exploited. At the same time, development should not harm the environment. Okay, it should be used, okay, but it should not be exploited. And development should not harm the environment. It is desirable but obvious because everyone would certainly like the present level of development to go further or at least be maintained for future generations. The next term is environment degradation. What is environment degradation? Basically, it's now a global issue, isn't it? And discussed and debated all over the world. The matter is that environmental degradation is not restricted to the national or state boundary, which is causing such degradation. Its consequences are felt in the surrounding states or nations, or sometimes you can say globally. Let's take an example, okay? I'll take example of air pollution. Air pollution through massive thermal power plant and other sources in India causes pollution in Pakistan, Sri Lanka, etc. Even our neighbors also experience increase in asthma and other lung disease. Acid rain, climate change, etc. are some issues which are transcontinental in consequences. Deforestation in Brazil has caused disturbance in rainfall pattern throughout South America. Land degradation and dam burst like conditions in China affect India and Bangladesh as it brings massive siltation and flood consequences. Now, environmental protection is a major issue and taken seriously by almost all countries, and discussions take place internationally and among group of nations. So what are the reasons? So reasons you can find it out here: exhaust gas from factories, deforestation as we discussed, chemical effluents means you can talk about toxic effluents, tremendous surge in private vehicles in recent times, unplanned construction, the population explosion. Then the last one is defective agricultural policies. Okay, rapid growth in population. Here in this, under this heading, you can write about rapid growth in population, increase in the demand for food. But obvious, the more population would be there, the more demand of food would be there. But what would be its consequences? Degradation of land quality and increased pollution. Again, you can associate the example of green revolution here. Okay, what would be the measures? Over exploitation of resources should be avoided, and we need to adopt rule of 3 R's: recycle, reduce and reuse. In place of conventional and non-renewable energy resources, we should use renewable energy. New technologies should be developed for judicious use of resources and pollution-free environment. So students, lots of discussion about sustainable development, environment degradation, its measures, its control. So I would request you go through it. Apart from this, you would also, if you want to refer your NCERT book, you can refer to it. So with this topic, we came to an end of this chapter. So in the last class, I hope that we would discuss question answers. Okay, I would be sending you the question answers in the PDF format. It will be easy for you, okay, to note down in your fair notebook. Till then, take care. Have a nice day ahead. Bye bye, students.